So this is another Nateislame video. Like I said, I like the guy, but this is not me going after his religion again. Because I respect his religion, but this is pro-nihilism, and well, let's just say I don't think nihilism is inherently good. I think it's inherently bad and harmful. I can assume this. Good music. Good job. I love you too.
So here's the deal. I was writing a silly script for this video. The whole premise was going to be, hey, nothing is real, nothing matters. Since none of your decisions have any weight or consequence, there's no reason why you shouldn't check out my merch store with crowdmate. And that sort of thing. It was going to be a very serious video in the beginning, in the middle, and then the gag would be, hey, go buy my merch since nothing matters, you know? The thing is, though, is I was writing that video listing off all these depressing true facts and surface-level nihilistic philosophical anecdotes. It felt wrong and off. Not the merch plug at the end. By all means, please go check out my merch. We got pins, we got a really cool raccoon tour beanie, and, you know, new designs on the way. Nah, it was the ramblings that started bumming me out. I've recently been through what have probably been the worst few months of my life, period. I was kicked out of that house that I was so in love with a few months back. So much of my time, money was sent down the drain by someone else's decision. I've lost pets, I've lost friends, safe spaces, support systems, and I've pretty much lost all of my motivation to do anything. On top of this horrible pandemic thing going on too, I've been stuck at home just marinating in my own misery these past few weeks with no escape. And in my brain there's this little black door, and behind it is the nasty rationalization of absurdism, the understanding that the universe is cold and random and uncaring. Children die horribly, wars are fought over whose imaginary friend is more real than the other, genocide.
And here I was thinking Nate was overall respectful. I mean, not the imaginary friend argument. That's low-hanging fruit. You can do better.
Rape, murder, new releases from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, every
Still not funny.
single day horrible atrocities you can't even imagine are committed. And there is no cosmic punishment, no karma, no anything that is taking charge and acting as judge. The most evil, heinous people end up in the same place that the best people go. Oblivion, nowhere, nothingness. I've talked about this in past videos plenty, and if you're a longtime viewer of my content, you already know that this stuff freaks me out. Normally,
Yeah, you're obsessed with nihilism. It's unhealthy. It seems like there's a kind of obsession with death. And I don't agree with that.
I have three support systems that I put in front of that awful door. Art, friends, and community. But when I lose all motivation to do art, when I lose all my trust with my best friends who I thought I could depend on, and when the community that I belong...
I know that feeling. I've lost many of my friends as well. Friends are assholes who just leave you whenever they feel like it. Like, I have had a selection of 10 friends, and contact broke out with most of them. I'm sorry, Nathan.
Who doesn't feel safe anymore, there's nothing distracting me from that nasty, horrible door that's just always looming in the back of my head. At the end of the day, there's a strong argument for the gesture that everything we do is to avoid facing the inevitability of oblivion. This is called terror management theory, and this line of thinking was popularized by Ernest Becker, who wrote the book The Denial of Death. Religion was designed to manipulate the fear of death into political power.
Okay, but seriously, that's not true. I don't know how you could think that's true. It's not. Religion is not something of power, though power has been used in religion, but they're different things. I'm just I have no words for this.
Society was designed to subvert it, and philosophy was created to understand it. We have speed limits in place because time is a valuable asset, and we value life over the alternative, which is haunting and scary, stuff like that. Human beings are the only creatures to understand the oblivion that they face, and they're also the only ones to try and...
You get it? There's no God. There's no afterlife. This is all that matters. Yeah, you've got it, Nate. You've said that like 50 times already.
Conquer it with civilizations, medical studies, and stories to chase some form of immortality. We as a species have built systems that are ultimately meaningless, but work so that we have things to invest our attention into that's not, you know, the fact that someday this will all be gone and we won't be around to think or remember it anymore. There will not be any form of us to recall this stuff. You know, we often imagine the end of the world being some fiery hellstorm of nuclear proportions. There's going to be famine, climate change, a Democratic nomination going to Joe Biden. Here's a fun fact. The Climate and Atmospheric Sciences Department in the University of California currently assert that there's a 1 in 20 chance that humanity will be wiped out by the year 2100. That means that you are more likely to die in the apocalypse than you are to be killed by a car wreck. But there's a very real argument that the end of the world will not take place with bombs or global warming or even a pandemic, but rather something quieter and smaller. You, resting in a hospital bed surrounded by loved ones huddled around you. One of your children holding your hand as a heart monitor beeps to your left and your vision starts to blur into a white haze. Your head gets fuzzy and it burns a little. You feel dizzy as if you're floating or tipsy. Senses and memory begin to fade and peel away as the world evaporates around you. Your entire life, all that you've known has been your own perception. And once that's turned off like a computer motherboard, who's to say that that isn't equivalent to your own tiny apocalypse? Now, this is some pretty heavy stuff that's digging into the existential foundations of everyday life. I don't expect everyone to have 100% grasp on the serious implications of terror management theory. Trust me, I've read the comments a lot of you left on my religion video. Some of y'all are pretty dumb. Some folks are content
Another attack. You know, I came into this video having lots of respect for Nate, and that respect's dropped by 25% in just less than 5 minutes.
that the world outside of themselves matters beyond their own perception of it, so then let me extend the theory to a larger scale, the fate of the universe. Eventually, everything that has ever existed and will ever exist will be swallowed by black holes. Then those black holes will evaporate and all of time and space will be nothing. The universe will continue to expand for all of eternity. There will still be neutrinos, electrons, photons, and positrons floating around, but they will be too far apart to interact or do anything meaningful. This will be the dark era of the universe, and as far as we're aware, that's it. Nothing comes after that. Ever. We are completely powerless to it. And this isn't a hypothetical or anything. This is real, and it's going to happen eventually. You are going to die. There is no heaven, there is no hell, there is no cosmic grand purpose for why bad things have happened to you, your family, or the world around you every single day. The lives that we lead and human civilization is not headed for some grand final destination that's meaningful and permanent. This isn't like Breaking Bad where everything is leading up to a stellar finale where everything just makes sense and it all justifies its own existence. Hell, the most realistic semblance of meaning for us will probably be inadvertently creating a godlike AI that surpasses us and becomes the most sophisticated life force in the universe. If you really want to get big picture with this whole thing, we are probably just an extended prologue for another species' grand epic cosmic story. We are to the computer race what trillions of cells in the prehistoric gene pool are to us. This stuff is really sad to rationalize and think about. And if this doesn't scare you deep down, you haven't spent enough time marinating on it. Ernest Becker states that
I don't believe this nihilism quote that you do. My goal is to be respectful of you, but when you do generalizing soup like this and they're so poorly done, then I have no chance but to deny your logic, your harmful logic that consists you in your face of atheist nihilism is the one true face. And that is a harmful idea. People shouldn't believe that. You're going back on your own statement that religion is a thing for comfort. Well, at least it feels like that, but this just seems uncharacteristic of Nate. I haven't watched most of his I haven't watched his other nihilism videos, so I might not know. But this feels wrong and petty.
Everybody is horrified of these implications if you dig deep enough past all the delusions and ego. So that brings us to this question. Since everything is horrible, why do anything? That is a question that plagues a lot of people when they're presented with it, especially if they come from a religious background. If our consciousness is all that we can objectively prove to exist, and we know for a fact that it's all going to come to an end, why is it worth working through the depressing stuff? If the universe is going to dissipate into nothingness, why spend time and effort building anything? If nothing matters in the end, why do we bother doing anything? I think the answer's simple. It's because we have no choice in the matter. All that you get at the end of the day is this time. You do not have anything else. You can't take the phone you're watching this video on with you when you die. Your day-to-day experiences are the only things that are 100% yours, and they're all that you will ever have. So it begs the question, why would you waste your time worrying about something that you can't control? You see, I was brought into this world without permission, and I was tasked with thousands of responsibilities that I didn't ask for, all contributing to this giant socioeconomic system that's kind of pointless in the grand scheme of things. So of course, I can be miserable and mad and angsty about that, but what good does it do me? If anything, being conscious and aware of that and fixating on it does me absolutely no favors. The beginning of my life is set in stone. The ending of my life is not going to change. What I have is the middle stuff to occupy my attention and time, and I don't want to waste that. I've been fixated on a lot of the bad stuff that happened to me over the past few months that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. It caused me to spend some time in some really nasty introspection on this kind of stuff, and to be transparent, this video is kind of in itself me working through this stuff out loud. But sometimes
that will explain why this video feels so spiteful. Because Nate was going through a very hard time when he made this, and I didn't realize that until just now, and of course if you're going through a shit like that, you're probably going to be more upset, so I'm sorry.
Putting things into perspective, you can get a little fire under your butt. So there's this big, black, scary chasm waiting for you in a few decades? Awesome! Here's some stuff that you can do in the meantime while you still can. Here's some people to make friends with. Here's some amazing food, excellent shows, amazing movies, and places to see before you can't anymore. If everything was gonna last forever, I don't know how I would have the motivation to do anything knowing that it was gonna be there tomorrow. Death inspires me like a dog inspires a rabbit, as one guy said. He's not important. Nothing matters, and nothing you ever do, say, or think changes that. But you can find either liberation and motivation in that inevitability, or you can let it crush you. For me, I want to use this time to become a better artist and eventually quit drawing stick figures. This isn't a stylistic thing, I just can't draw. I would love to learn to animate and work in a studio someday. I want to play music and write someone else's favorite song. I want to move somewhere with someone I love and make money and live in a home and play this stupid capitalist game. I want to work as a high school teacher when I'm old, and I want to have hundreds of cool stories to tell my students about my life. I want to be a super cool uncle to my nephew and hopefully be a good father to children. There is so much stuff that I want to accomplish, and death is the thing driving me to get them all done in a timely manner. Terror management can be pretty scary, but if it wasn't, would you care about anything? I know that my videos can bum people out from time to time, but I hope that most of you let these kinds of meditations serve as a driving force for you to do amazing things. Please get out there, pick yourself up however you can, do everything in your power to make your ride into nothingness as exciting and wonderful as possible. When you're on that hospital bed surrounded by your loved ones fading into that colorless void, I hope it's not an event filled with regret and fear and hopelessness. I hope you'll be able to view it as welcome rest after a long life of yelling into the void. I hope you accomplish everything that you want in life. I really do. Please stay safe, stay motivated, and stay spicy. I'll see you around.
Well, what can I say? This was worse than his religion video. I expected it to be better. And I did like his religion video, but no. This video is just complete disregardment of everyone else's opinion. Like, I'm a nihilist. Deal with it. Your beliefs are invalid. F you. I'm right, you're wrong. And I might just not be reading this correctly, but Nate just seems really self-absorbed this time around.